Fellow travelers, this is what you want. This is what you need. This is the path to true happiness and wisdom.
Glimpsing into the vitality of a celebrity chef shows more than someone who can simply cook, but instead, a look into a person willing to peel back his soul and be honest about what life was like.
Uninhibited creative freedom is something that I've been incredibly fortunate to have for the better part of my entire television career.
Anthony Michael Bourdain was a chef, author, and travel documentarian who starred in programs that explored culture, cuisine, and the limitations of life shared by all humans. Born in Manhattan on June 25, 1956, he grew up in Fort Lee, New Jersey, in a tender, affectionate household, with both parents and his younger brother Christopher. As a child, Bourdain was described as being an adventurous eater who was open to try all kinds of chow, including exotic and unusual dishes. His love of food was kindled when his family took a vacation to France, and he tried his first oyster while on a fisherman's boat. Although his adolescence was stable and family-oriented, Anthony thought it was boring, so to give it some spark, he purposely became a troublesome teenager who was destructive and experimented with drugs, trying acid for the first time when he was only 13 years old. He graduated from Dwight Englewood, a co-ed private college preparatory school located in Englewood, New Jersey, in 1973. He then enrolled at Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York, but dropped out after 2 years amid struggles with drug use. He began working full-time in seafood restaurants across Provincetown, Massachusetts. This further inspired his decision to pursue cooking as a profession. He later attended the Culinary Institute of America, graduating in 1978. He ran several restaurant kitchens in New York, including the Supper Club, 1 Fifth Avenue, and Sullivan's. Anthony struggled with depression throughout his entire life, but the exact timing of when it started is unclear. In interviews, he spoke openly about his battle with addiction and mental health issues that included depression and anxiety. After work, he would spend countless hours doing drugs as a result of the stress of being overworked and unable to make ends meet from paycheck to paycheck. In the mid-80s, he began his future media career by submitting unsolicited work for publication to the quarterly literary magazine Between C and D. Eventually, they published a piece that he had written about a chef looking to purchase heroin on the Lower East Side of New York, but it was barely seen. Anthony signed up for a writing workshop in 1985 with Gordon Lish, later earning a small book advance from Random House. He continued to spend most of his time high on drugs and depressed from the financial woes of being behind on his bills, owing companies large amounts of money, and getting evicted. His first book, Bone in the Throat, was published in 1995. While he paid for his own book tour, he didn't find much success. His second book, Gone Bamboo, released in 1997, performed poorly in sales as well. In 1998, he became the executive chef of Brasserie Leal, a French-style restaurant located in the financial district of New York City. While employed there, he wrote fiction on the side. He composed an essay for the free newspaper The New York Press, with intentions to entertain people in the restaurant business in the New York area about his life as a working journeyman chef of no particular distinction. The tabloid never published it. His mom then suggested he send his work to the editorial magazine The New Yorker, and a few weeks later, to his surprise, it was published. Within days, he had a book contract and soon released the no-holds-barred memoir that changed his life, Kitchen Confidential: Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly. The biography takes you through from his childhood and his start in the cooking industry, culinary college, and then working his way up through all the positions a chef can take until eventually becoming the person in control of all aspects of the kitchen. Filled with wild anecdotes of misbehavior, drugs, sex, and rock and roll, the book captures the average days in his life as a chef. Anthony later claimed that drugs influenced most of his decisions throughout his adulthood. He'd send busboys from the restaurants he worked in to get cannabis, meth, LSD, cocaine, heroin, and codeine. He revealed that he also struggled with drug addiction in his youth, and he credited his love of cooking and the discipline of working in a professional kitchen with helping him to overcome his addiction. 2 years after the book's release, he landed his first show, A Cook's Tour, which aired on the Food Network in 2002. He traveled around the world indulging his taste for local cuisine and eccentric characters. Throughout his illustrious television career, he also consulted for the TV series Trem, appeared on Miami Ink., voiced himself on The Simpsons, and appeared as a fictionalized version of himself on the series Archer. In 2005, he began hosting No Reservations. The show was about more than just eating. Each episode focused on a particular location or theme, and Bourdain would immerse himself in the culture by trying the local food, meeting natives, and participating in various activities. No Reservations was known for its mix of food, travel, and personal commentary, as well as its cinematic style and production. He would regularly use profanity to the point that No Reservations had a viewer discretion advisory tacked onto each episode. Bourdain was known best for his willingness to consume exotic local dishes with no hesitation, no matter how the dish looked or what it consisted of. He was also known for his put-downs of celebrity chefs like Wolfgang Puck, Paula Deen, Bobby Flay, Guy Fieri, and Rachel Ray. In particular, he seemed to disdain the overt commercialism of celebrity chefs and the celebrity cooking industry's lack of culinary authenticity. He was a heavy smoker, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Though he stopped when his daughter was born, he picked the habit back up later after he completely stopped using drugs. He married his college sweetheart Nancy Putkowski in 1985, but they divorced after 10 years. He later married Octavia Buscia, a mixed martial artist, and the two welcomed a daughter in 2007. He spent much of his time away from his family. However, Octavia did appear in several episodes of No Reservations before they separated in 2016. Bourdain's battles with depression were also documented in his later years, particularly in the aftermath of his divorce from his second wife. In an interview, he described himself as happy but living with periods of darkness and despair. In 2013, Parts Unknown premiered on CNN. Every Sunday night, Bourdain was in every living room, every kitchen, and every bedroom on the TV, and he was very inspiring. It was journalism, but it was a very different way of storytelling. Parts Unknown was similar in style and tone to his previous show, No Reservations, but it focused more on the intersection of food and politics and featured a more in-depth exploration of each location. The show aired for 12 seasons. On June 8, 2018, while in France working on an episode of the show, Bourdain suddenly caused an upset when his longtime friend Eric Ripert noticed he'd missed breakfast that day and dinner the night before. Eric went to his room to check on his best friend, but it was too late. Anthony Bourdain's cause of death was later revealed to be an apparent suicide by hanging. He was 61 years old. His body showed no signs of violence, and he returned negative for narcotics in the toxicology results. Following his death, various celebrity chefs and other public figures expressed sentiments of condolence. Restaurant owners held tribute dinners and memorials and donated net sales to suicide prevention. Anthony was a larger-than-life personality with a past that most people would have kept hidden. He, however, was not like most people. Instead of running from his past, he faced it head-on, bled it into his work, and drove it forward. He wasn't just a chef, a TV show host, a writer, and a journalist. He was a human being that showed his appreciation for diversity while interacting with people in unfamiliar places. Though Bourdain is gone, his legacy stands the test of time because of his extraordinary impact on others through the power of relations and the importance of building connections in more than 80 countries on all 7 continents. He was at his very best when he could be self-reflective, especially when discussing his personal struggles. He was willing to open up and talk about his past, doing what he could to end the public stigma around addiction and mental illness, becoming a beacon of inspiration for others. He was personal in an impersonal world, and it set him apart. Bourdain became more than he ever could, all while remaining himself. He became more than he ever could have imagined when he found his love of food as a child.